News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the DJ Ritchie Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. The Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air everywhere. I know. You've been waiting all day for it, and here it is, finally. The number one talk radio show in the world. The one you love. The one you could not live without. Here it is. Ooh. I feel a little woozy after listening to Brett Jensen's show, because I could taste that bourbon coming off of him. He was talking to the bourbon man, bourbon guy. I don't even like bourbon. You know, I've tried. I have really tried. And I hope my Southern Baptist family back in Louisiana is not listening to this. But I just can't. I can't acquire a taste for the bourbon. It looks so cool on TV, and I love cigars. And they say that, you know, that's one of the best things to have with a cigar, and I just can't do it. I like beer too much. You know, I'm like Judge Kavanaugh. I like beer. You remember that? Okay, well, let's get down to business, shall we? Yes, we shall. Now, I live in Mooresville, North Carolina, up in the Lake Norman area. And for several years now, there have been tons of apartments being built around here. And I've known this for a long time, but people really need to understand what's going on. The Democrats, professional Democrats, always yelling about home prices and young people can't afford a home and we need affordability and all of that. But they really don't want people owning homes. Just like they don't want people to have a car, because owning a home is freedom. Okay, so they have all of these plans. And at one time it was being referred to as the war on the suburbs, you know, like a class warfare kind of thing. But then they tie environmentalism into it. You know, now it's, if you try to build a house, it's going to cost you way more because it has to be environmentally compliant with the regulations and all of this. So the Democrats have done everything possible to block what they refer to as single family home ownership, which includes the invasion of illegal aliens or foreigners into our land, that are, you know, they're taking up housing that could be on the market for Americans. So by the time you add in all of the crazy government regulations, the zoning restrictions, and everything being a crisis, according to the Democrats, home prices are through the roof and harder to have, and more apartment complexes are going up. And then you start hearing plans about the government transportation coming out to the suburbs. Like they're trying to get a train that will go all the way into Statesville, past, you know, through Mooresville into Statesville and all that, because they want you to be dependent upon the government for everything. Which, you see how that works out, right? With the government shutdown, that did wonders, didn't it? Anybody for the air traffic controllers not being part of the government now? Hello? It's stupid that they're part of the government anyway. It should be a private firm, but regardless. If you hear Democrats saying that there needs to be affordability when it comes to home ownership, you know, just like everything else that they say, it's a lie. Now, when they created all of this this environmentalism and started out as global cooling, then global warming, then climate change, and then climate crisis, it's all a form of communism. To run every aspect of our lives. And anything that the Democrats or the big government doesn't want us to do, they can claim some sort of environmental conflict with it. So that's what they're doing to the construction industry now. It's ridiculous. So there are a lot of things that we need to be dealing with in helping young people buy homes. We played the clip last night of the African-American lady who said that she owns a house and has what is called the American dream, but it doesn't matter because it's not her dream because she's not white. And that's stupid. But we need young people to be able to experience that like they've always done. But it's just not happening. And a 50-year mortgage that President Trump is suggesting is not, I don't know anything. I am the worst when it comes to finances and stuff. I'm no good at it. Obviously, since I work here for free, I make the worst financial decisions ever. But I do know that if you take a mortgage for 50 years, you're just going to end up paying a lot more interest on your home loan and probably will never be at a place with equity in it to make it, profitable for you to ever sell it. Which, I mean, that's the whole reason to look at owning a home is that it's yours. And then when you get ready to sell it, you can make money from it. Real estate investment. It's always been, touted as one of the best ways to invest in the United States. But just like almost every other thing that Democrats are involved with, or basically the government is involved with, it gets messed up. And anytime the Democrats do something that is bad for people and they notice it, well, what is their plan? Blame it on the Republicans. Go through the town, lighting everything on fire, and then circle back around and say, look what these Republicans did. They're disgraceful, cruel. So we'll just add that, up there on the list of things that are pretty depressing, when you think about it, about whether or not we're going to be able to get it fixed. And I know that clock is ticking because President Trump only has 3 years left. And if we don't replace him with somebody who is just as in your face when it comes to the issues, then we're going to be in bad shape. Bad shape. That's why I'm announcing tonight that I am running for president of the United States. It's going to take me to clean this mess up. I can do it single-handedly. All right, so I have a lot of audio tonight that goes in many different directions. So it's almost like you just jump on the horse, and whenever it stops bucking, then it's broken. So that's what we'll do with all the topics tonight. We'll get on it next. Hang on.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up. Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
Oh, look at us. Just rocking and rolling here. I gotta be honest with you. When the show was about to start tonight, I wasn't feeling it. I'm tired. I got another job. I got to get up so early to do every morning. Last night, I left it all on the microphone. I mean, it was a big time show last night. If you missed it, make sure you go listen to the podcast. But then all of a sudden, when Lonnie Ray says in my ear, "We're going live," boom, then there you go. Wake up, ready to go, and enjoying every minute of it. Or as the group Loverboy says, loving every minute of it. I shouldn't say that. That's unrealistic. I don't love every minute of it. Sometimes y'all on my nerves. You know who you are. Getting all up on my nerves. All right. So this, to a lot of people, makes no sense, but I am a huge Detroit Lions fan. Now, quick history of that. My little friend Jenny and her handsome husband Michael, they're our best friends, and they are fans of the Detroit Lions. And when we met them, I went to a game with them, and it was fun, and I liked their coach and so forth. So I started liking them. They're not my favorite team, but I like them a lot. So they have a wide receiver who's really good. His name is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he scored a touchdown the other night. And because he scored the touchdown and President Trump was in the stadium, he did the Trump YMCA little shimmy dance. And everybody loved it. Thought it was great. But then all of the haters came out. Now this is St. Brown on a podcast of some sort, and he did the worst thing somebody can do in this situation. Listen.
Let's address the elephant in the room. After your touchdown, nice play by the way, nice drop step or cut up field slice, but you had a touchdown celebration. Talk about it.
Yeah. So. First of all, if I offended anyone, I do apologize. I did not mean to offend anyone. It was just, we're having fun. If any president was at that game, if they had a dance, I would have done it. Had nothing to do with who the president was. But even after the game, I found out, someone told me that was the first game that a president has been to in over 40 years. So first regular season game, which is crazy. So we were just having fun doing the dance. It was, nothing more, nothing less. Just quick shimmy, whatever you call it.
A little fun. Nothing serious, nothing political, just doing a little dance.
Oh, God, that makes me sick. Ugh. Absolutely sick to my stomach. So, the host, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What he did was so it's almost as if he's one of those players that got arrested for drunk driving and wrapped his car around a telephone pole or a light pole because he did the Trump dance, the silly dance that Trump does. I'm telling you, these people on the left are so fragile. They're insane. So what? Stop apologizing. You didn't do anything wrong. Now I wonder if the team ownership and all made him do that, because they're probably a bunch of libs. I don't know. I shouldn't say. I don't really know. But I think recently, they were one of the only teams that didn't do a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated. I could be wrong on that, but I think I heard that. But people need to stop apologizing. Stop giving in to these lunatic bullies on the left. Now, Pat McAfee, who is at the moment the absolute king of all sports, He is the man who is running ESPN. He is huge. He interviewed President Trump, and he got a lot of flack for it. He came back on his show and basically said, if you got a problem with it and you're complaining to him because he interviewed the president and some, sorry, people must not know I'm on the radio trying to call me. And if you think that he is upset or sorry for interviewing the president and some veterans, war heroes and stuff, and he has some choice words for those people that I can't say on the radio, that's the way you handle them. That's the way you do it. Tell them to go kick rocks. Don't explain yourself to them. You don't have to explain yourself. You did a dance because the president was in the stadium. And it doesn't matter if you wrote MAGA on your helmet. You have nothing to apologize. If I offended anyone. Look, okay. If Barack Obama would have been in the crowd and he did some tribute dance to Barack Obama, would he have to come out and apologize for it? No. You know why? Because conservatives wouldn't be hassling him and insulting him and probably threatening him. You know why? Because we're civilized. The people on the left who would give this guy a hard time about that to the point where he felt like he needed to come apologize for it, then, yeah, they're not civilized. They're so fragile, these leftists. You know, because they have been coddled emotionally so much by our media and so much by the professional Democrats. That's why they get violent. That's why they throw little tantrums and scream obscenities and all this stuff that is uncivilized behavior, is because they are completely absorbed, drowning in pandering. They've been pandered to for so long. They're sick. So you think this is going to do him any good? The fact that he apologized? Hell no. They don't care if you apologize. You did it, so that proves that you're evil. Apologies are not accepted on the left. Nor should they be. I hope they don't accept that apology. He shouldn't have been doing it. The apology, not the dance. He should go out and do it again when he scores this week. That's what he should do. All right. There's another thing we need to stop apologizing for or having to explain ourselves for, but I don't have time to do it right now, so we'll get into that coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 9. He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hey. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. I am the Green-Eyed Patriot, TJ, the realist Ritchie. That's me. That is me. Now, another thing that we need to stop having to explain ourselves over, and this is what reminded me of it. I just was looking through the latest news and all before I came on the air, and I see these stories, and I've been cheering these and really saying, yeah, show them, tell them. But now I've kind of changed the way I look at it. When the Department of Homeland Security and ICE go into these explanations about the illegal aliens that they are detaining, and they'll always, try to prove that they are detaining the most vicious ones with criminal records and all of that first. Which is great. If you're just saying it as a matter of fact, fine. If you're saying it to get approval and say, see, look what we're doing. They're lying about us. We're doing it. You don't need to be doing that. Because what are you going to do? You think that you're gaining favor and you're going to change the minds of the people on the left? No. Everybody accusing ICE of just taking people, what do they call it? Disappearing people from the streets who are citizens, and they're African Americans who were born in this country, and they're just seizing them and zip tying the hands of babies. You know, all of that stuff. They know they're lying. They know that that's not true. So the bottom line is we have too many foreigners in the United States. If they are illegal aliens, they have already committed a crime. So therefore, we have laws. They need to be detained and deported. If they are foreigners who refuse to assimilate into our country and our culture, they need to go. Especially those who speak out against our country. And we've talked about this a lot. The radical Islamists, communists, who are out to tear down America need to go. And it doesn't require an explanation. Maybe the explanation is that, hey, they're here illegally, they're out to do our country harm, so we're protecting our freedom and our culture. That's it. You see, Republicans and conservatives have been bullied for too long now. It's time to stop. It's time to stop letting the media, professional Democrat politicians, and all of the little whiny, weaselly weenies on the left. It's time for us to stop letting them bully us. We have a country to save. They're too stupid to realize what's going to happen to them if our country gets taken over by socialist, communist, Islamists. We have to save them too from themselves and their own stupidity. I'm so sick of Republicans and conservatives always walking around like we've done something wrong just because we're accused of doing these things. You know, it's time to break free from that. Let them call us what they want to call us. I realized that years ago, that people who are just going to call names just to be calling you names and putting you on defense all the time, I don't even give in to that. I don't even accept that as an argument. Because that's the only reason they do it. They call you these vile names so then you will stop to defend yourself and prove to them that you're not vile and disgusting and all of the other things. And it gets a soft message. Why waste your time? There's a job to be done in our government, and we need to do it as quickly as possible before, sooner or later, the left is going to take over again. And you see how much damage they did in 4 years with President Autopen. Biden didn't do all of that damage. All the little communists who were pulling his strings did all of that. Led by Barry Obama, in my humble opinion. But aren't you tired? Aren't you just fed up with it? Everything you say that's in favor of America maintaining its greatness is met with accusations of racism and white supremacy and anti-gay, whatever. Just, I know you're sick of it. We all are. And if you think about it, by allowing the lunatics on the left to put us on defense all the time, we're giving them power over us. Power that they not only they don't deserve, but power that is stupid because they're idiots. They don't know the greatness of this country because they're too blinded by the indoctrination that they've gotten. They're too blinded by the brainwashing that the professional Democrats, commucrats, socialists all have done to them. So they accuse us of all these things, even when it's obvious that people we're detaining, our ICE agents are detaining and deporting, have no business being in this country because they're dangerous. Most of them are dangerous. Yet they still continue. You know, you see it every day. You see these videos, these stupid white liberal women jumping in front of ICE vehicles and doing everything they can. And you would think, because you figure that liberal white women are feminists, that they wouldn't want to be protecting rapists and child molesters and murderers and all of that stuff. But they do. And we are the ones who continue walking around worried of what we're going to be accused of doing when we know that we're doing the right thing. The right thing for the country and the right thing for the world. Because when America gets taken over by these communist Islamists, the rest of the world is going to suffer. The rest of the world is going to go down crashing with us. And yet here we are having guilt thrown on us all the time. I say, say what you got to say what you mean. As long as your heart is pure and you know that everything that you're saying is for the benefit of this country and maintaining the freedom and liberty that we're supposed to have, who cares what they say? If people are in this country illegally, they're causing problems in, everything from crime to financial issues for our nation, to the point where Americans can't even buy houses because there are so many illegal aliens and other foreigners taking up the housing. Say what you got to say. Let our leaders know that you're behind them. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of people walking around feeling like we've done something wrong, or we got to prove that we're not doing something wrong. They can go pound sand. All right, I got something a little more lighthearted. We'll get to that coming up next. Hang on.
It's TJ Ritchie. He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
All right, here it comes. Oh, leave it up. Boom. All right. Nice. 704-570-1110. That's the number if you want to call or text. Get in here. Come on. You can do it. One of my favorite peoples in Washington, D.C., or as my dad from Louisville, Kentucky would say, Washington, D.C., is Brandon Gill, Congressman Brandon Gill from Texas. He's he's funny. He makes me laugh. I laugh a lot at him. So he stood up in in the House. He's at the podium and he's speaking to everyone. And he does a little shout out to Sandy Cortez. Listen.
Here from the new leader of the Democrat Party, Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Unfortunately, we didn't also get to hear from their other leader, Mr. Zoran Mamdani. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be proud this evening to vote to reopen the federal government.
House should be in order.
Mr. Speaker, for 40 days, the Democrats shut our government down to pursue unrealistic policy proposals that they know the American people do not want. Mr. Speaker, the American people do not want health care for illegal aliens. They do not want our tax dollars funding left-wing media outlets, and they do not want to drive up our debt $1.5 trillion as part of a short-term continuing resolution. Mr. Speaker, the last 40 days have been nothing but pure political nihilism, and I'm glad that this nightmare is over so that we can get back to work on behalf of the American people.
Isn't he cool? It's like, glad to hear from the leader of the Democrat Party, Ms. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Love that. See, that's more of what we need. Mocking. Just mock them. Love it. I had this clip last night and I didn't get a chance to get to it. So before it gets old, I want to weigh in on this thing. Charlotte Jones, who is Jerry Jones' daughter, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, or as Jerry Jones calls them, the Cowboys. You know, them Cowboys. And people say that's that Texas accent. No, he's from Arkansas. That's the Arkansas accent. But I digress. She was asked about Bad Bunny being the performer at halftime. And Bad Bunny is he's popular with the kids. He's Puerto Rican. He speaks out against America and ICE and wears dresses sometimes and only does music in Spanish. And, you know, just one of those colorful characters. And this is what she said.
What are your thoughts on Bad Bunny performing at this year's Super Bowl?
I think it's awesome. And I think our Latina fan base is amazing. And I think when you think about the Super Bowl, you want the number one performer in the world to be there. We're on a global stage, and we can't ever forget that. Our game goes out to everybody around the world. And to get the premier entertainer to want to be a part of our game, I think is amazing. And I think that, we have a mixed culture. I mean, our whole society is based on immigrants that have come here and founded our country. And I think we can celebrate that. And I think the show's going to be amazing.
You don't think at a time when his comments were divisive as it relates to President Trump, when everyone is just seeking this political unification, that you'd want somebody who maybe didn't touch politics to be on that stage? Yeah,
I don't think our game's about politics. I don't think people tune in to look at politics.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's very disappointing. You know what you call that? You call that hispandering. She's hispandering. And I've been telling you for a while that the NFL doesn't give one rip about male viewership. They are catering to women. It's the feminization of the NFL. You heard what she said. She said our Latina fan base is very important to us. What does Latina mean? That means women. So the women want to hear Bad Bunny and see Bad Bunny, so that's what we're going to do. But I'm going to tell you why, and I've said this before, and if anybody else says it, they got it from me. I firmly believe that Jay-Z picked Bad Bunny because he wanted to stick it in the face of Republicans and pro-America people. Because he's the one that chooses those halftime performers. I don't know why. because then, you know, Jay-Z is a rapper, if you don't know, and a producer and all that. He's from New York. I don't particularly like New York rap. I'm a West Coast rap fella. Big fan of the West Coast style. I've never thought Jay-Z was great. Don't get it. But I know he's not a huge fan of America either, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So, yeah, it's just let's stick it in their faces. What are they going to do about it? Now, remember, Turning Point USA is having a halftime show that they want people to switch over from Bad Bunny and watch their pro-America halftime show. That's what I'll be doing if I'm even awake. You know, I like to go to bed early. And you see what I mean? But NFL is just, you know, she's talking about, no, we don't have room for politics. Oh, are you crazy? Why do you think he was picked? She knows that. She knows. Oh, sorry. Just hit my microphone. You can turn that up a little bit, Lonnie. I'm going to groove with that. So, I don't know. That's why a lot of people are sick of the NFL to begin with. You know, all the preaching that they do to everybody and all that. Because they pander to the left. But Bad Bunny can go kick rocks, as far as I'm concerned. I'd tell him to his face. I think he can speak English. He just refuses to do it. He's not going to cave to any English-speaking Americans. But who cares? The music sucks anyway, I think. And I know music. All right, hang on. We got another big hour coming up. We'll get to it in just a few minutes.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up. News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Yes, welcome to Hour 2 with the Green-Eyed Patriot. TJ, the realest to ever do it, Ritchie. Thank you so much. The number is 704-570-1110. Call it or text it. If you're texting, just know that that's driven by Liberty Buick GMC. And we appreciate that. Okay. I have to admit something. I never thought that it would come to this, that I would have to say this in public, admit that I had been wrong about something, but I have to. When I've been on this show many, many times and made fun of like what I'd call lunatic liberals, and I have actually said, there's nothing I could learn from these lunatic liberals. I don't even need to pay attention to what they say. Everything they say is wrong. Everything they do is backwards, so forth and so on. So I would like to apologize because there is a group of liberals in Austin, Texas. Now, that's a little redundant because everybody in Austin, Texas is a crazy liberal. They just are. But they have taught me something that is going to enhance my life so much. I believe the name of the group is Austin Screams. And it's a bunch of your stereotypical liberals that get together on a bridge every Sunday and they scream in unison to let out their anxiety and all of the stress that they're walking around with because of living in America that is run by Donald Trump and the Republicans. Now, I know you may be thinking that I'm being sarcasm here, but I'm not. You think it's silly. You think it's ridiculous, but wait until you hear what it sounds like, and then you're gonna change your tune as well. You'll be out trying to get on a bridge and do this. Okay, go ahead, Lonnie, play it.
3, 2, 1.
Sometimes we need permission to scream, right? We're so used to holding things together or feeling like we should be able to handle whatever's going on in our life, especially as adults. But I think sometimes just having permission to release is a really big part of it.
Scream with us!
Scream with us! Scream with us! Scream with us! All right, that's enough. Oh, always the victims too, right? They can't even go out and do something stupid like that without having to turn it into a victim gathering. Sometimes we need permission to scream. We're not free to scream and let it out. We're not free to release it. But this, because they're also group-minded on the left. They can't do anything as individuals except, sit in their house and not associate with people. I don't know. I'd say that crowd was probably 70% women and not a stitch of makeup on that bridge. Just saying. Oh, and they meet out there every Sunday, and that's what they do. Because they're victims, you see. They need permission to scream. Right? Okay, so there is a clip that's going around, and it is a British woman who describes herself as an OG lesbian. So she doesn't go in for all of the transgender ideology and all of that stuff. I think she's quite eloquent in her description of how she feels and other old school lesbians feel. Listen.
This is a message from an OG lesbian. The acronym LGBTQ+ is not a representation of a united community, but the strategic forced teaming of the LGB with the TQ+ that serves a dark agenda to rebrand sexual fetishes and disorders as sexual orientations. For what was once a legitimate civil rights movement, gay rights, has been hijacked quite literally by the TQ+ and used as a Trojan horse to mainstream their degeneracy. First, we have the untouchable Ts, the trans cult, who want to sterilise children with puberty blockers, turn all homosexuals into surgical simulations of straight people, and destroy women's rights to enable men's fetishes. Then we have the Qs, young men feminised by sissy porn, furries and pups who fetishise bestiality, and even adult babies who fetishise infancy are all accepted and protected by the rainbow umbrella that magically transforms all scrutiny into bigotry. But the thing that requires the most scrutiny is the unspecified plus at the end, a placeholder for what's coming next. MAPS, or minor attracted people. Ooh. A euphemism that is already being used to describe pedophiles who are waiting in the wings for their time to shine. Because the LGBTQ+ sexual psyop is not about promoting tolerance of diversity. It's about grooming society to accept depravity. And as an L, I renounce all association with it and the LGBs who are accessories to the fact. And I urge you to do the same and join the movement for LGB without the TQ+, because we need to divorce people and we needed stat.
Stat, she said. All right, I'll come clean. Playing that clip was self-serving. because I have said all of that stuff and have been saying all of it. And one of the things that has caused me the most complaints coming in at me for being so insensitive and all is when I said that most of the people in the LGBTQ plus that we see in the news for causing trouble and everything are just feeding their fetishes, going into the women's bathrooms. A lot of that is just a fetish. So people get upset about that. And they're probably, especially if she's in Great Britain, I'm surprised they don't have her in jail yet for saying that, because that's the way they operate now over there. And then people say, well, she's just saying that thinking she's got credibility because she's a lesbian. She may not even be a lesbian. I know you could think that if you're listening on the radio, but if you saw the video, there's no doubt. I'm sorry, I tickle myself sometimes. Okay, so I have a little bit more on this, but I have to take a break because I'm already over time for this segment. There's a guy in Texas that has caused a stir, and I don't think that the African-American community is liking him very much. So we'll get into that coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show. Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Laying down the truth for the masses. Masses being 11 listeners. But you're getting the truth. Always getting the truth. Because I am TJ the Realist Ritchie. Okay, so we just played the lady that identifies herself as the OG lesbian. And she was denouncing all of the letters past LGB in LGBTQ plus. But I ran across this clip of a guy who was speaking at some sort of a government gathering, whether it be a town hall or he may have even been in the Texas State House or something. I don't know. But he was speaking out and up for the quote unquote trans community. And he did something that a lot of people do who are on that side. And it's not right. So listen to the comparison that he made.
If we were sitting here like 50 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, instead of talking about trans women going into bathrooms, you'd be talking about black women going into white bathrooms. Do y'all ever get tired of being on the wrong side of history? It was bigotry then. It's bigotry now. You are not interested in helping or protecting women, period, full stop. You're here to hurt trans people, no other reason.
Okay. There is no comparison in the Civil Rights Act and trans rights to go in, a man dressed as a woman to go into women's bathrooms. How dare you put yourself on that level? That's not the same civil rights. But you know, they always do this. They always, and the politicians help them do it, which is disgraceful. You're not the same. The situation is not the same. But what gets me is that they're so out of touch. He's sitting there proud of himself. He thinks he's just made a great point. He thinks he's just dazzled everybody in that room. Well, we didn't even think of that. Oh. Having no clue how bigoted his point of view on that is. And he's so sure of himself. It's not to protect women. It's to hurt trans people. No, it's not. You know what hurts, quote unquote, trans people? Pandering to them and helping them continue living the delusion that they are a member of the opposite sex from which they were born. That's what's cruel. That's what's hurting trans people, you idiot. You see, pandering to people who have emotional and mental problems is never a good solution. And that's, I guess, what he wants. Sure, you've got male junk and you're wearing lipstick. Why not go into the restroom with women and little girls? I mean, it's shocking to me that it's gotten to where it is with this whole trans issue. These people need our help. The people who are truly confused and they think that they are a member of the opposite sex, they need our help. The people who are just living out their fetish needs to be scrutinized. Just like this guy in California that was going into the women's locker room at the Gold's Gym or whichever gym it was, and the black lady threw a fit. He's laughing, giggling, doing an interview with TMZ or some damn body because that's what he wants. A lot of them love. They're turned on by the excitement they get from the shock and the response that they get from women who are scared or women who have been forced to look at their junk in the women's locker room or bathroom. And anybody with a brain who's not shady and corrupt knows it. All of these professional Democrats that have been promoting this and all of that, they've just done it, like I've said from the beginning, they've done it to tear down the traditions of America because they want communism and Marxism, all the stuff, all the isms. That's why they try to make it to where young people, to make them believe they don't need to own things. It's just stuff. You don't need to own a house. You don't need to own a car. We'll take care of that for you. Our birth replacement rate in this country is way down. But you got the professional Democrats celebrating dinks, cheering them on. DINK is an acronym that stands for dual income, no children, no kids. Dual income, no kids. And you get these couples out bragging and laughing, and we get to do whatever we want. We're dinks. We don't have kids holding us back and blah, blah, blah. Democrats celebrate it. People who they've talked into never having kids. Never owning a home, never having a car, none of it. But it all starts with the pandering. That's what they do. They know what they're doing. They're pandering to these people to get them to do the opposite of what would be best for America and our culture and for them. So you tell me where the humanity is. Is the humanity on the side of someone who panders to a mentally ill person crying for help, or the person that tells the truth and says, you need help. You need to get help. Because you're not a woman, you're a man. Or where is the humanity in forcing innocent women and girls to have to deal with some guy walking around naked, seeing them naked in a locker room, who's in there just living out a fetish? It's just backwards, the whole thing. But again, Democrats aren't making these mistakes because they're just oblivious. They're making them on purpose. They're doing this is all done on purpose. Well, aren't I just full of hope tonight? Okay, we got to take a break. Hang on. We got more coming up.
It's TJ Ritchie. Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is true. I am America's coolest conservative. Hands down, they say. They say there really wasn't any competition. I mean, that's not coming from me. I make no bones about it. I like Mark Levin. I've listened to Mark Levin for years and years. He comes on right after my show on WBT, but he does something funny. He'll say something like really touting something that he has done that's huge. Like he'll say, and that book I wrote sold 5 million copies, and then he'll go, but that's not because of me, it's because of you. It's like, it's not. It's funny. So there are two examples today that I will call the Trump effect. As conservatives, go back to the Bush administration, Bush 43. And think about how many times we as conservatives would listen to the things that they would accuse him of and the questions they would ask him in press conferences and all. And we would say, fight back. Don't let them talk about you this way. That's a lie. It's not true. Why don't you fight back? And then he was always of the mindset, and this is the way moderate Republicans are. He would say, well, it's too much respect for the office of the presidency than to get in the gutter, and then all of those accusations and everything just went, sticking to him because he wouldn't fight back. Therefore, it stuck to us. So whatever mud they would sling at George W. Bush when he wouldn't fight back, we took it. The mud got stuck to us. Well, Trump is not like that, as you know. And when he came on the scene, that's why we were all like, thank goodness we've got somebody that'll fight for us and say what really needs to be said to fight against all these liberal attacks and blah, blah, blah. And because of moderate Republicans like Mitt Romney and John McCain that had run for president against Obama, we wanted it even more. If we hadn't dealt with those, moderate candidates for president, we wouldn't have been so thankful to have somebody like Trump. Well, I think that Trump being the leader with that has helped other leaders in the Republican Party be the same way. Now, one of the most mild-mannered politicians in the country is the Speaker of the House, Speaker Johnson, from my home state of Louisiana. But he will tell it like it is when it needs to be told. And this is something he said because he had enough of Chuck Schumer. Had enough of his shenanigans. So listen, this is Speaker Johnson.
Chuck Schumer came out and said the quiet part out loud. I don't even think he realized he has no self-awareness. But he came and cried to all of you that I would not agree to go into a back room and make a four corners agreement on these issues. That just he and I and Hakeem Jeffries and Leader Thune would go in a room and make this decision for the entire population of America and block out all of our colleagues as if they had no voice in it. That is why Washington is broken. That's why Congress hasn't worked well for people. That's why they don't have a lot of faith in what goes on here. And I'm committed to trying to restore that faith. And one way we do that is we get back to regular order and we allow all the duly elected members of this body to have their voices heard. I'm not playing games, and Chuck Schumer, I'm not going in a back room with you and making a four corners deal on anything. And I hope you understand that.
So Schumer comes out crying, he wouldn't meet with us. He wouldn't meet with us. Now, Republicans in the past would have just said, that's not true, and we need to get back to work for the American people. They would not have called it and said, this is the way it happened, and this is what he wanted. He wanted to block out all the other members of Congress in the House and the Senate and make it a deal with just four people. Basically saying, I'm sick of Chuck Schumer being a whiny, lying, overgrown baby. Now, we move to Marco Rubio, Little Marco, as President Trump used to call him when they were enemies. So Little Marco is pointing out the EU's hypocrisy when they are accusing President Trump of wrongdoing for blowing up those drug boats that are coming in from Venezuela, which, by the way, as a proud red-blooded American, don't you cheer when you see those videos of how our military just blows them out of the water when they're racing across the water with all those drugs on them? Don't you love that? I do. I get pumped. It makes me want to just eat a raw steak. Arr, go. It's America. Yeah. So Marco Rubio is not standing by and letting this European reporter get away with accusing us of wrongdoing. Listen.
I don't think that the European Union gets to determine what international law is. They certainly don't get to determine is how the United States defends its national security. The United States is under attack from organized criminal narco-terrorists in our hemisphere, and the president is responding in the defense of our country. I do find it interesting that all these countries want us to send, and supply, for example, nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles to defend Europe. But when the United States positions aircraft carriers in our hemisphere where we live, somehow that's a problem. So I would say that the United States is, and this president has made very clear, his job is to protect the United States from threats against the United States, and that is what he's doing in this operation.
Ooh. That was blistering. Yes. It's very interesting that y'all want us to send our Tomahawk missiles over here to protect you, but then have an issue about our protecting our own country. Get out of here. That is the way it's done. Stop letting these countries that are, they're not even close to being as good as we are. Let them criticize us. No way. Hey, if it weren't for us, you wouldn't exist. Get out of here. We need more of that. We need more. I don't care if you want to call it American arrogance or not. I would like to refer to it as American pride. You want to put America first? Say it. Don't let these whiny little left-wing European idiots try to criticize us. We're America. If you don't like it, then get out of the way. And I love all these Democrats that are so broken up about the fact that we're shooting these drug boats out of the water. They love drugs, I guess. They love the narco terrorists. Anything that they can do and support that is against Trump, they'll do it. They're just programmed to do so, even if it makes them look like idiots, which they do most of the time. All right. One segment left. We'll get on it. Coming up next. Hang on.
The TJ Ritchie Show. Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WPT.
Live from the big dangerous city of Charlotte, North Carolina. People have asked me for what this song is that plays all the time in the introduction music and all that. It is a song called Blow by Ed Sheeran and what's the country singer's name that's so good?
Stapleton.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, here we are, the last segment of the show. And not a full show tomorrow because there's a ball game or something where I'm being rudely interrupted. So I think I'm only on from 7 to 8 tomorrow, which is a travesty. But it's not doing me any good to complain. I just miss y'all. When I'm not on, I miss y'all. But I do podcast stuff that you can go listen to with fresh material. If I'm ever not on the radio, make sure you go check that at tjritchie.com. All right, 704-570-1110 is the phone number, and we have, oh, look, it's a caller. Somebody wants to talk. It's Dave. Hey, Dave, what's going on, bud?
Hey, TJ, how's my homeboy from Louisiana doing?
Oh, I'm great, man. How's my homeboy from Waxhaw doing?
Hey, I wanted to make sure that you and your listeners are fully aware that the conservative cause is alive and well in Union County, North Carolina. We had major victories in the city of Waxhaw for a wonderful conservative group for council members. So now our entire Waxhaw mayor and council members are all solid conservatives. It's been a long time coming, brother.
Yeah.
And the other thing that happened, we had a group called Marvin United in the village of Marvin. Got a new mayor, and they had a group that ran as a slate called Marvin United, just outstanding. Angel Martin is one of the new council members, but just couldn't be more pleased. And just don't want y'all to lose heart with all the naysayers about, all the municipal elections going south and stuff like that. Come to Union County.
Okay, well, Dave, I got to tell you something. I'm going to give you a little advice. Do not call any of the other shows on WBT and say that, or people are going to be just moving into that area like crazy, and you're going to be overrun with people and traffic and everything. You can say it safely on my show because I don't have but 11 listeners, but all the other shows have a lot of listeners.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I tell you, I thank God every day I live in this county. I moved here from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
And, of course, had my roots in Northeast Louisiana. And you know how crooked politics is in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So,
but, you do it's crooked and all that, but you can't tell me you don't get a little joy out of telling people what it's all about and sharing stories about it, because they just look shocked every time you tell them some kind of a story about politicians.
Hey man, our buddy Kennedy is killing it in the Senate, and he is nailing those folks right and left. And of course, Speaker Johnson's doing an outstanding job. So they're doing Louisiana proud, man.
Yeah, I mean, and you also have Scalise. Scalise.
Yep.
From Louisiana as well. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. Hey man, it's good to talk to you, buddy. Appreciate you. Keep on keeping on.
And I, if things around Mooresville start to go left, then I'll be moving to Union County. But so far, we're holding it steady here.
We'd love to have you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Have a good night, bud.
Okay, bud. Take care.
All right. Man, that is awesome. But, I mean, that is going to be a problem if he ever calls any of the other shows. Too many people hear it. They'll be taken over. Ooh, that's what they do. They just go to the pockets of conservatism till they overrun the place and then end up having a bunch of liberals move in and they vote like they voted in their areas they came from that are messed up. Okay, I am constantly telling you that I am not a professional political talk show host, and I am not an intellectual like the other hosts on WBT. However, I do say that I am a societal profiler and that I can pick up on things that are happening immediately and what will end up being a trend, usually when it comes to the language. You know, I can tell you what slang is about to start being overly used and all of that. So what I've been saying for a while now is the Democrats have gotten together and their messaging is going to be that the Trump administration is the most corrupt administration in history. And because they're all these professional Democrats are led by communist principles and tactics, they will repeat it over and over and over until it starts to become believable. That's the way they do. That's their messaging. That's how they work. Repeat the lie until it becomes true. So I see today in the news, I'll just read it word for word here. Cory Booker says Trump's administration is the most corrupt administration in U.S. history. So the second that Hakeem Big Sleepy Indica Jeffries said that the other day, I knew. They've been focus grouping, they've been brainstorming, and that's what they're going to do. And they're throw all of these things at him, all these accusations that they've been throwing at him since they always say that historic day he came down the escalator and announced his presidency, his run for presidency. Russia, phony impeachments, the Ukraine debacle that they blamed him for, that beautiful phone call, that perfect call that he made. And then they end up impeaching him and all of the stuff and the accusations of sexual assault. I mean, everything that they've thrown at the poor man. Now they're going to continue with lies, and he's the most corrupt administration in U.S. history. Man, these are low down, rotten people. I know I say that all the time, but every day I'm more and more surprised at just how dead inside they are. Those professional Democrats are vampires walking around. Why do you think Bernie Sanders' hair is always so messed up? It's because he doesn't have a reflection. That's why. He can't see that it looks like he's combed his hair with a balloon. And Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey, with his crazy eyes, being all sassy and ambiguously gay, gonna come out and say that Trump is corrupt. Who cares what you say? But every time they say it, we need somebody to reject it. That's the way we fight it. Keep on our toes. Keep our heads on a swivel, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so tomorrow, first hour only. And Mark Levin is coming up next. God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow.
It's TJ Ritchie.